Today on the How You Slice It podcast, I'm talking with Matthew from Pink Onion Pizza in San Francisco. Great story. He's doing amazing things with Pink Onion Pizza. His pizza looks fantastic. I'm actually going to be heading out to San Francisco after this podcast comes out, so we'll get to go in there, try out the pizza, see what the operations look like, maybe do a Pizzeria Insider video while we're there. Link to that will be in the description below this video. But conversation about how he got started, what it's like to go through COVID in San Francisco and how that affected his business, and how he's grown his business using those third-party apps that everybody hates to talk about, but he uses them quite effectively to get new customers and to get his message out there, because you got to get your message out to the people, and why the first year or two of his business was kind of hard and what he would have done differently if he started today. Great episode. Pink Onion Pizza. Matthew, let's get right into it. All right, welcome back to the podcast, everybody. Matthew is joining me on the show. Matthew, thank you so much for hanging out with me.
Yeah, no problem, brother.
Tell everybody where you're from.
So, San Francisco, Pink Onion Pizza in the Mission District. We've been around for about 8 years, 7 years, 8 years. 2017, I don't know where that puts us, but somewhere in this journey.
Nice. 8 years is a long time for a pizza shop.
Yeah.
How's it going?
Yeah, so far so good. I mean, we got pretty lucky, coming out of everybody dealt with the pandemic. We luckily were only a couple of years in when the pandemic started, so we were able to adapt easy because we were used to just, surviving. And we have a small place, 1,000 square feet. So 1,000 square feet, you can become a to-go business. You don't have to kill yourself trying to figure out how you're going to make up for all this lost revenue in the restaurant. We were on the apps, like a lot of pizza places where they didn't struggle too bad in the pandemic.
Yeah.
And, I think every year since we've been growing, which is great.
Are you still
We're
in the
getting
same
to
spot?
the point where, yeah, same spot. It's getting a little tight, but that's not a bad thing. And you know what? If that's the problems we have to deal with, maximizing this space, that's not that big of a deal.
Right. Well, how'd you get into pizza?
So, growing up, my family's from Croatia.
Okay. Were you born in Croatia?
No, my parents.
Okay.
And I had a friend who was Sicilian, same thing as me. He wasn't born there, but his parents were going. So I would spend my summers in Croatia because that's where my grandparents were, and my aunts and uncles when the war ended in '95. And he was going to Sicily in the summer, same time. So we didn't spend time with our friends in the United States that much during the summertime. So he would come to Italy, or he would come to Croatia. I'd go to Italy. His family also had restaurants, pizza restaurants in the Bay Area. So then once I was 16, 17, 18, I think 18, 17, I started working at his restaurants. I was doing pizza. I was waiting tables. Through college, I just kept working in pizza places. After college, when I got a regular job, I was working in pizza places. And I just, at some point, I realized, I don't really want a regular job. So I saved money, and that's kind of how I got into it.
Okay, cool. So it's like a little bit of family background, but restaurants, but then pizza is like kind of your first job, like most people that are in pizza business.
Yeah, of course. You love it. You just kind of fall in love with talking to people. And they had an open kitchen, so you're seeing the dining room, you're making pizzas. And I was also a waiter. I was a host. I did everything. Every aspect. Cashier, growing up in restaurants.
And when did you, 2018, you guys opened Pink Onion?
I think 2017.
Okay. And
March 2017.
And what, if you had to describe your pizza, I know I hate asking people that, but what kind of style of pizza do you have?
I get that a lot. It's hard to describe a little bit, like everybody says. I would say it's like a medium crust. I don't know if that's the right way to describe it. It's kind of like, if you had like a back home pizza parlor growing up, that they were somewhere between fast food and like wood-fired oven. I'd say we were in there, but I think we just do it maybe at a higher level than that, I guess is the best way to say it.
Yeah, it's a little thicker. Like, I'm looking at your Instagram right now, and your Instagram is Pink Onion Pizza. It's a little thicker than your traditional New York style pizza that you say.
It's not a New York style pizza.
Okay, and what kind of oven do you use?
What's it called?
Is it a gas oven or wood fired?
No. I forget the name of it. You just made a post about this the other day. Is it worth it?
Pizza Master?
It's the one from Sweden. Pizza Master. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's from Sweden. So we started off with a different oven when we started off. We started off with the Baker's Pride, like P440, that double deck, kind of like the slice, the ones that people use for slices. What we started off with was one of those that's 4 decks, And then we use convection oven, like the convection oven you would use at a bakery, and we would start it in the double deck, and then we'd move it to the convection oven in a line, and then to the cutting table. So we started off with that, and once you get to 100 pizzas, 120 pizzas a night, it can't handle it.
I was gonna say that sounds like a horrible process to work.
You know, honestly, it makes great pizza. Like,
I know, but like, it must be like, when it's busy, it must be chaotic.
Nah, dude, and then when it's busy, the pizzas aren't good. Once you get past like 50, 60, 70 pizzas a night, the pizzas aren't good anymore like that either, because it's not hot enough. It's not built for that.
Yeah.
But those are meant for like reheating slices. And stuff like
I was actually recently at a pizza shop in Florida, kind of working with them a little bit, and they do the same process. Well, they kind of have a similar process. And I was like, why do you guys, this is so hard. I understand, like, when it's slow, it's easy to do because it's like there's not a lot going on. But as soon as that cranking on a Friday night, you're putting yourself through so much work.
It was just cheap to get started like that too, you know.
True.
You could. We do Outside Lands, which is like a music festival in the Bay Area.
Okay.
We actually kind of do that for Outside Lands, but we don't use the small Baker's Pride ones. We use we use the big Baker's Pride double deck, like the one that's like 48 or 60 inches long, 2 of them, and then we go into convection ovens at Outside Lands, and it's the way that we can make the most pizzas, the best, the fastest.
Got it. Okay. So you got to do what you got to do,
we have like 5
right?
people working ovens for that event. You know what I mean? So it's a little different. But so we still do it like that just for 1 weekend a year. And it makes great pizza, but it's a pain in the ass as a restaurant owner.
Yeah. So you got a pizza master?
Yeah, we did like 3 years ago. Once it got to a point where we were like melting those ovens because like they were cranked up all night long and they were just making bad pizzas once we were getting at a certain point.
I forget what you said. Did you say they're worth the price or?
The Pizza Master?
Yeah. Do you think it's a good investment that you got?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, for us, so we don't have a lot of space, right? So I think it's one of those things. It doesn't take a lot of space.
Yeah.
We have this size 8, I guess, is the width. I forget how they do it. It's like 3 stones, 8-inch stones. So I guess that's whatever that is, and 3 decks. Yeah, and we can do pizzas all night without slowing down. The slowest it'll get to is about 6.5 minutes of pizza, but it generally stays at that 5-6 minutes of pizza all night long, which is all you can ask for. And you can change the temperature in the bottom deck for bread or whatever else you're doing, because we're a kind of full restaurant, so we're using 1 deck at a time for other stuff too.
Okay,
and if we have to use it for pizzas, like we can use it for pizzas if it gets
yeah.
in the night.
A lot of people said that that post got a lot of engagement. It got a lot of people talking about it, and I think it was like 60-40, yes, it's worth the price. And even the people who said it's not worth the price said, when they bought their oven or they were looking at them 4 or 5 years ago, they were a little less expensive than they are today. And today they're just kind of an expensive oven. They're pretty popular. So
you don't see them on resale. Like I look all the time just to see if I can snag one, because in the back of your head you have opening for another restaurant thoughts and stuff like that. I was like, is there ever a time where maybe I could snag one and just store it for a year or 2? Yeah. They don't show up that often, like on the secondary market, at least in our area.
No,
so
I don't think
people are doing well with them.
I think too I think they work really well, and I think in the pizza industry they're kind of a newer oven, right? So I don't think a lot of people had a Pizza Master 10 years ago, which you kind of see the trajectory of someone who's either going to make it or not make it at like that 3 or 5 year mark, and if they don't make it, that's when they kind of start looking to sell. So maybe a year or 2 from now, we'll start to see more Pizza Masters on the resale market than we do right now, just because it's so popular and so recent.
Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing them in other countries too. I was in, I forget where I was, in Mexico recently, and I just saw people are using them in all kinds of places because you can fit them into any size. Like, I think they are the best choice in certain situations. Not for everybody, and if you have the space, maybe there's better ways, but. In a tight kitchen, you can do a lot of pizzas on that small oven, and you can keep it pretty consistent.
Yeah, they do a good job. Do you guys, who made your dough recipe? Where did you get that from?
So my friend, when I opened the restaurant, my friend that I grew up working in his restaurants, I mean, I was always helping them and doing stuff like that. So we opened the restaurant together, actually. Initially, and it's called La Coco's was the original restaurant that I worked at and stuff like that. They have a few all over the Bay Area, but the 2 are in Berkeley and in Oakland that the 2 of the brothers run now, and that was getting too much for them. It's hard. Having a partner in the restaurant business is not easy, right? And then everybody's got different ideas. He was used to pretty successful family things. The whole startup thing, that first couple of years is stressful. So at some point we just said, like a year in, we said, you know what? Let's split this off. He was starting to take care of his family's restaurants and stuff like that. So I said, I'll just buy you out at this point.
Got it.
Move on from there.
And then, so
that's where it all developed. Yeah. And
okay.
So they use different ovens than us, so it's not exactly the same, but you can work with it and stuff like that, obviously. Yeah. And it changes. I feels like every month it's changing.
The dough?
Yeah, slightly, obviously.
You just tweak it every once in a while, or like you get sick of it?
You have to, or every batch of flour is different too. Every temperature is different, all kinds of shit.
Yeah, there's no set recipe. I think you have an idea of a set recipe or like an outline for a set recipe, but then you got to tweak it to base on weather, humidity, what's going on how many pizzas you're going to make, what's going on in the atmosphere right now in the industry.
Yeah, so in the Bay Area, we don't have air conditioning like you guys, or like the rest of the country, right? So a cold day is good. We have heaters, but like there's weeks where it gets to 100 degrees. It's just like, we can't cool that down. You have to make dough different when it's 100 degrees.
Yeah. What's the pizza industry? What's the pizza atmosphere like in San Francisco? Is there a lot of shops?
Where are you from?
I'm from
Los
Boston.
Angeles?
You're
from Boston. So, yeah, I mean, I would say in the last 10 years, so we opened in 2017. And, like, have you heard of, like, Square Pie Guys, obviously,
I know
and
Mark,
stuff like that from the Yeah, right. They were not open when we opened. So I think we opened, there's a place called Longbridge Pizza.
I know them too,
yeah. And Square Pie Guys, right? Longbridge opened first, then us, then Square Pies, and I think that kind of was the first shift in the Bay Area to like younger people kind of opening pizza places and kind of changing the scene a little bit. And I would say there's probably like 15 to 20 interesting pizza places in San Francisco, and then there's a bunch of like, more established places, maybe people that are coming from big funded bankrolls and stuff like that, restaurant style stuff. But I would say about 15 to 20 interesting pizza places in the city.
I like the way that you put that. Interesting pizza places. I like, because there's a lot of legacy places that have been around for a long time in a lot of different cities that I've been to, but you couldn't do those kind of businesses if you opened it today.
I don't. It would take time to establish yourself, I think, and I don't know what you would stand out as.
Exactly. Like a lot of these legacy places, people try to emulate and they open today, but I don't know if they're even possible to replicate in today's world. They work today because they've been around for so long. Like that's their marketing
of course. Yeah, of course.
But yeah, San Francisco, I've seen a lot of pizza shops. I know a lot of people who are opening pizza shops, interesting pizza shops. I think Tony Gimignani's pizza shop is there too, right?
Yeah. He's and his pizza's good. I mean, they're so big. It's so hard to stay consistent. He's got so many hands in different places and stuff like that. It's like if I was going to go for pizza, I probably wouldn't go there, but I eat it sometimes.
Is his pizza place there more of like
that's where tourists are going to go.
Yeah,
you're going to fly into town. You're going to go there. Like I would, and maybe you could order on DoorDash. It's like $55 for a pizza on DoorDash if you want it delivered to your house from him. So I mean, you know what I mean? It's one of those things. Like I don't think it's many people's like Friday night. This is where I'm getting pizza delivered to my house. It just can't be. It just can't be.
It's like
tourists.
It's like In-N-Out Burger when you go to like California. So I'm from Boston, right? Like you go to In-N-Out Burger because you should go to In-N-Out Burger. I'm probably gonna get a lot of shit for this, but like I don't think those are the best burgers or fries you're gonna have in any burger place. But you just feel like you gotta go there.
No, but for $3, you can't beat it, right? They're not competing with whatever. They're competing with McDonald's and Burger King, and growing up here, I think most people, even if you don't love In-N-Out Burger, it's still when you're on a long road trip on I-5 to Los Angeles, you're going to stop at In-N-Out Burger over, that Subway that looks super shady along the way.
Yeah, I love it. And so I'm scrolling through your Instagram right now. Your pizzas look great. I mean, it looks like you guys do a fantastic job with pizza. I haven't had them, but they look fantastic. And you do a really good job with marketing on Instagram. You got a good following. Like, who does that?
So it started out obviously it starts out as me.
Yeah.
And then, at some point I try to like get my employees to do it because they're like, I could do such a better job than you at it. I'm like, okay, here, take it. Take the password. You do it. And they don't do it. And they do it a couple times like, oh my God, this is a lot of work, right? So I actually just pay some lady that comes once a week. She just takes a bunch of photos and then does post. It's not necessarily like she advertises just so it keeps it in the mind. And then I do all the giveaways. We do a lot of giveaways and stuff like that. All the interactions with customers, I do that. But she just does that basic one post every 3 days kind of like with a professional camera and stuff like that.
And I see you work with a lot of, like, I see a couple of influencer things in here. There's probably a lot of influencers in that area, right?
Yeah. Like what? Which ones are you saying? Or who are you?
Well, maybe this isn't an influencer, but there was one that had, I think it was someone that was on your TikTok that had about the pizza and the tiramisu. Was that an influencer that posted about that?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I think that might even be the same lady that does our Instagram. That might even be her.
Okay, so she kind of does her own content.
Yeah, she has her own account. Yeah, exactly.
Good, that's fine. Like, listen, if they're gonna do that, I because only reason I asked is because I'm curious about how that works. I think that influencers are interesting to work with because you can negotiate with them, right? And they need content just like you need content. So without letting them into your pizza shop to say, hey, let's create some content, they don't have any business. Their only business is creating content, especially if they're a food influencer in a specific area.
Yeah, no question. And you know what? I think in San Francisco, the way it kind of works is like, so a bagel shop opened up right next door to us about a month and a half ago. And all these influencers, they're looking for content, just like you said. So they come, that initial wave of them just come like, because they need to put, this is the new bagel place that opened up in San Francisco. So they're all doing posts and posts and posts and posts and posts. And then once that first wave happens, then they start hitting you up. Hey, like, you want to work something out, whether it's a free meal or money or whatever it is to do content back that way. And generally I don't know. It feels weird, some of this exchanging money for content kind of stuff, other than like paying somebody to run your social media account or something like that.
Food is fine. I always offer food, like free food. If you want a pizza or toast, that's easy.
It would cost me more money to take pictures myself professionally, you know what I mean? And they're doing it, and you're just giving them food.
Yeah, I mean, I would even be like, hey, just come in and take some video. I'll pay. If the video's good, I'll pay you for the videos that you take. You don't need to post about it. But like, if you're gonna come in and create some good content that I could repurpose on my own and use it later, that's worth it.
Yeah,
it's
just paying for a review. Yeah, paying for the review. Yes. I don't love that, but yeah, exactly. Like what you're saying, having people come in, giving them food, giving them wine, have a good time, go into the kitchen, do what you want to do. I'm totally fine with all that stuff.
I think I don't know how I feel about the reviews. I know there's a lot of people out there who review pizza, and every time I talk about that, I get a lot of crap because I'm like, I don't love pizza people who love reviews because, I don't know, it's so subjective, right? Like my tastes of your pizza could be completely different, and then I'm gonna like,
of course,
people are gonna watch that review, and if I don't like your pizza, they're gonna say, oh, that pizza sucks, and then they're not gonna go there, and I just like affected your business based on my taste buds.
Yeah, and it depends on, you're at a different level than maybe a Yelp or whatever, but you get reviews from all kinds of stuff. Like the pizza was too burnt for me. Like if I go on a pizza place's restaurant and I'm looking at their reviews and I say, oh, they said this pizza was too burnt for me. I'm like, I love burnt pizza. Like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm going.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's hard. Honestly, I look at pictures and stuff more than that, and you can kind of get a vibe from whatever the reviews are. But that stuff, it bothered me earlier, like this kind of review, that review. Now it doesn't bother me anymore. You can't. You'll go crazy.
I think I can get a pretty good feel of how good a pizza is going to be by looking at if they're active on Instagram and they post pictures and videos of their pizza. I can get a pretty good feel of the quality of the pizza by looking at the video if they do that. At this point in time, like I can see yours looks pretty good.
Is stuff cooked? Is the cheese cooked? Is the bread cooked? You know what I mean? Just basic stuff. Is there cohesion? All kinds of stuff.
Yeah, you can tell what kind of oven they use, like how they handle it, what products they're using on the cheese, like what kind of flour they use by the look of the crust. You can pretty much tell all of that if you study it, or like us, we've eaten a ton of pizza in our life. I'm sure we can do that.
Yeah. Put your hands on a lot of doughs and you know what's going on.
But it boggles my mind though that some of these restaurants and pizzerias don't post pictures or videos of their product on social media. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a lot of the old school stuff too. It's I think if you're right, I think anybody my age, your age, younger starts a restaurant, I think that's pretty much ingrained in like, okay, we got to take a picture of our food and put it online. It's more of the older generation, maybe more international type people. I don't know, that don't take pictures of it, but yeah, it seems like a easy W just to be putting yourself out there online.
I think the hardest part is just the consistency, like you said, like being able to do it consistently, because you get busy.
Yeah, and I couldn't do it consistently.
Yeah,
because I'm busy.
You before you know it, like the day goes by, you're like, oh crap, I didn't post. You have to really organize your schedule. If you're gonna do content, you have to really be like, all right, one day a week, I'm gonna spend an hour or two getting the content that I need for the whole week. Because if you do it spur of the moment, before you know it, the day's over, and you're like, I forgot to post. I was just busy doing something, or something broke, or someone didn't come in.
Yeah, bro. Like so I give away Warriors tickets, Giants tickets weekly on our Instagram thing, and that's something I do because I know which employees wanted the tickets for that game or whatever, and so I'll be like, okay, nobody wants this Thursday, Friday because we're working or whatever. So I'll give away, and when I'm in charge of it and I know I have to do it, it's like 7:00 at night. The game's the next afternoon. I'm like, God damn it, I got to do a post right now. I got to give these away. Like, and I've been thinking about it all day, and it's just you throw it up and you go. But it's even that 5 minutes of like, okay, tag it, get a picture, do this. It takes time just to be calm and do it,
Yeah, and then like sometimes you get nervous that you misspelled a word or you did something wrong. Yeah. You're like checking it 4 times. Making
and then
sure
you got to deal with all
right.
the responses and give away. Yeah, it's not easy.
Yeah. What do you do? Anything else? What's your marketing play? How do you get customers in the door? I mean, obviously, good food and good service has got to be the number one thing because that's a given, though.
I do think staying relative on Instagram is good. We do something that we got a little bit viral popular for a couple years ago, and we still do it, is we do a combo that's $60. It's on Wednesdays. It's a bottle of wine, a pizza, a 12-inch pizza, but our 12-inch pizza is not like a super thin pizza, so that's a solid pizza, a pasta, and a salad, and a dessert for $60. In San Francisco, that's a really, really, really good deal. Okay. And I think that had generated a lot of traction for us just in terms of like social media posts, like influencers coming in, chronicle, or like newspapers coming in writing about it, and yeah, I mean, we're small, we're 1,000 square feet, we're busy enough. I don't need to spend a ton of money on advertising, but we're just trying to stay relevant, weekly, and whoever's following us on Instagram or whatever, making posts, giving away tickets, that kind of stuff.
So you have enough business coming in that you just need to make sure that the customers that come in are happy and they get a good product, because then they'll kind of return.
Yeah, and we have really good reviews online, I think, across all the platforms, including DoorDash and Uber and Grubhub. And we advertise. I throw little campaigns on DoorDash and Uber and Grubhub because I think that is that's 70% of our business. So I think we really focus. Yeah, we kind of go by orders. Every night they send me, my employees, because I usually leave around 7, so they'll send me at the end of the night around 10:30 a list where it was like 125 Ubers, 35 DoorDash, or 125 DoorDash, 35 Ubers, 10 Grubhubs, and 40 dine-in tickets. So the dine-in tickets are the biggest, but most of 70% of our business comes from online orders or call-in takeout orders and stuff like that. So we
you're
really try to focus on that.
Takeout, 30% dine-in?
Oh, I lost it for a second.
Oh, sorry. You're 70% takeout, 30% dine-in? Is that about right?
Yeah, that's about right.
And that's what San Francisco's kind of where all those started, right? DoorDash, Uber Eats, all of those places.
Yeah, and then I think the pandemic really, really, really pushed all that even more into the forefront. And it was one of those things that pizza places, Chinese restaurants, sushi places, were all kind of on those places already. If you remember when the pandemic started, and then all the other more sit-down places were not on those. They couldn't get tablets, they couldn't get onboarded, and it even gave another kind of leg up. That's when I remember the first Friday night of the pandemic, when we only had one person working in the front of the restaurant because we're like, okay, no tables. We're just going to do to-goes. We do 30, 40 to-goes a night. No big deal. It was like 125 to-goes, and we were just overwhelmed. I remember that vividly.
Wow.
And
That's
then
crazy.
since then, it's grown, yeah.
That's great. And do you charge extra for people to order on those apps, or what's the? Or
I try
just
not
the same
to,
price?
and that's enough. I try not to. But we do like $1 more, and that was just recent because... Honestly, because I haven't updated the in-house menu yet, but it's easier to update the DoorDash menu and stuff because I can just click through there and add $1 on everything, right?
So you just do you don't charge more for your menu basically other than the $1, and you just get they just charge you the fee, and you're okay. You can figure that out.
Yeah, and so we're at 18% pretty much on all the apps, or 17%, because San Francisco put in a rule where it was. During the pandemic, you weren't allowed to charge more than 15% unless the restaurants opted into it, right? They wanted more advertising. So it gave restaurants a little leverage at that time to say, like, hey, if you don't work with me, give me the bigger package, I'll just opt in at the 15%, and there was kind of a middle ground. So we signed pretty good contracts during the pandemic where we have pretty big delivery radiuses. And normal good advertising, and we just paid the 17%, which you couldn't do anyway with your own drivers and insurance and all that stuff if you tried to deliver yourself. I don't think so.
Yeah, because you got to pay drivers minimum wage. So like the minimum wage, I don't know what minimum wage is in San Francisco, but where I'm from,
almost
it's like
20
16,
bucks.
17, yeah.
Yeah, nobody's gonna work for less than $20 an hour.
Yeah.
How many cars do you need to? Yeah, how many cars do you need to deliver 200 orders?
When we did our own, when I was operating the pizza shop, we had our own delivery drivers, and we had like on a Friday night we'd have 10 to 15 delivery drivers on a Friday night.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Yeah.
What a headache too. Are these guys
separate
showing
business.
up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was I tell people that all the time because I get questions about people who use DoorDash and Uber Eats, and they want to transition to their own drivers, and I'm like, you can definitely make it work, and you can make probably more money if you had your own in-house drivers if you do have a huge delivery business, but it's like two businesses in one. The delivery business is like a whole separate business. We had a manager, we had the dispatch, we had a different schedule, we had a different area for the delivery drivers. It's like you're managing two businesses in one business.
Yeah, no gracias.
But so it might be take a little bit less and just have DoorDash and Uber Eats do all of that for you. Sometimes that's easier.
Yeah, and it's advertising also because customers go onto certain platforms. It's not, you can't think of it as just like they're taking money from me. They're like doing a job for you and advertising because you're showing up in different ecospheres of people ordering.
Yeah, like the younger generation of folks go to those platforms to search for food.
Exactly.
So if your listing is done well, that's the only chance you really have of showing up for them, unless you're really, really good at TikTok and Instagram. More TikTok than Instagram because TikTok lets you go into people's feeds that aren't following you, where Instagram's kind of like its own ecosystem. So
yeah, we don't do TikTok. We don't do TikTok. I never did it personally, and then a couple of my employees have said they're going to do it, but it never gets done. It's just something we show up. We've gone viral on TikTok feeds, but not our own personally and stuff.
Well, that's why I asked you about influencers because I follow you on Instagram, and then I went to go look at your TikTok, and I just put in Pink Onion Pizza in San Francisco on TikTok, and a whole bunch of posts that weren't you came up from other people.
Yeah. I think definitely some of them were like, just come in, we'll give you food, and there you go.
Yeah, that's perfect though. Like that's a win-win. Well, it's a win for you because you get to just give them food, which people see how much you charge for like a regular pizza, like $25, something like that.
So a small is like $25, large is $30, something like.
And
12
food cost for you is 30%, like or lower.
Roughly, yeah.
So of that,
we do everything ourselves. So
$6, right? But they see 25. So for you, it's like, all right, I'll do that, no problem. That's a.
And like I said, we couldn't do it cheap. Like I've had people come in, hey, can you take professional photos for me? Blah blah blah. They charge like $1,000 sometimes to come in and do a photo shoot. Some of these guys, it's.
Those don't even do really well on social.
Exactly.
It's more of like the video with your phone that looks like you took the video with your phone while you're working. That's going to work the best versus a professional photograph or video.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see, like, a couple of my employees have talked about maybe get them some Ray-Ban Meta glasses and stuff like that, and trying to do some content. Do you?
Yeah.
How do they work?
They work great. To be honest with you, they work phenomenal. I did I was at the Pizza Expo in Juan from Triple Bean Pizza in LA was there, and I was talking to him, and he had them on. And I was like, do those really work? I always thought they were kind of like a gimmick, right? Like they're kind of cool looking, but then does the camera really work, and is it super shaky? He's like, no, dude, I do all my training videos with this. Like I put them on, I look down, I make whatever I got to make, I upload it to YouTube, and that's kind of how all my team members across all the restaurants learn how to do stuff. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to buy them. I'm just going to buy them and test them out. And I bought them. Dude, the video is so good. If I showed you a video, it can get a little shaky if like you're looking around back and forth. But if you keep steady and you keep the recording going for a 3-minute video or up to 3-minute video, they work really well.
Yeah, that's all you need.
I mean, they're $300 now. I'm sure they're going to go down in price as more people use them and the technology gets a little cheaper like a phone. But if I was creating content for a pizza shop and I was in the pizza shop, I would totally get these because they're not uncomfortable to wear, they're not big and bulky, and the quality of the video that they can produce is pretty good.
Yeah, and I'm not good at editing, but the like my employees and stuff, they're all the San Francisco's a lot of creative people, and my front of house is generally like college kids or just after college. They know how to do all this stuff and they want to do it. So it's just getting them focused and trying to, get something out of it. But it's something that we've actually been talking about over the last couple of weeks is try to get those we'll get those Ray-Ban glasses and try to see what a little content looks like, whether it's, delivering a pizza to a table or whatever it is.
Yeah. I think once you have this, like the Ray-Bans, I think people overthink content a little bit. You can just put it out there and see what works, right? You don't need to be so holistic about what you put. Some people are way too worried about what it looks like and then they never do it versus just putting things out there. Don't be a jerk or don't say anything stupid, but as long as it's just like food pictures or videos, just put it out there. If it doesn't look perfect, sometimes those work better.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think that could be, I think you're going to see a lot of content with that in the next couple months, especially pizza places and stuff like that, because there's a lot of cool stuff that people want to see, whether it's making a pizza or just, navigating through the restaurant to deliver a pizza without dropping it.
Yeah, sometimes like the things that you could take with these, where you can use both of your hands, where you couldn't do that before holding a phone, or like having one of those stupid GoPros attached to your chest or on your head, you look like an idiot. Like this is way better.
Yeah, no question.
I totally agree with that. How many people do you have working for you?
In the kitchen, so we have it separated, front of house, back of house, like everybody. Kitchen, 7 people, 7 people that work full time. And then in the front, like 12, 13, 14, and everybody's like 3-4 days a week, maybe 5 days a week at the most. And everybody does the same position, so it's just a front of house position, so they can all switch with each other and cover shifts and do that stuff I need a host, I need a waiter, I need a cashier, I need this, I need that.
Yeah. And everybody in the kitchen can make pizza and do the same thing?
No. So we have a pasta section and a pizza section. And then if you're kind of learning, we just put you on dishwasher / like help make salads, that kind of stuff. Some people can do both, like work the ovens. I don't know if anybody can make pizzas and pastas, but can work ovens and make pastas.
Got it.
Because we have 3 guys that can make pizzas. One guy does it most of the time, and then 2 or 3 guys that do ovens.
So what does it look like in the kitchen on a Friday night? Do you have all 7 people working?
No. So we 4 or 5.
Two guys, 2 or 3 guys on pizza and 2 guys on pasta? Or?
2 pasta, 2 pizza, and 1. The dishwasher just helps both. Whether that's go get some more dough from the fridge, even at times when it's really busy, hey, can you like pre-stretch a little bit for me, put it on my rack, and then I'll finish stretching it. Or with the pasta side, can you make some salads, or can you go get stuff from the walk-in, all that kind of stuff. So dishwasher we use as a training spot, kind of.
Yeah. He's doing dishwasher, but wherever he's needed to go, he's like the what do they call that guy in baseball? It's like the utility player.
Utility guy, yeah.
Yeah, super he's the utility guy or gal, whoever it is. Yeah. How many pizzas do you guys sell on a Friday night?
We do. I would say 250, roughly, something like that.
That's great.
But we do pastas too. So it's not just pizza. I would say out of every order, we sell about like 1.2 pizzas per order, 1.1 pizza per order. And we have salad, we have pasta, and we have appetizers. So I think a lot of people will order for 2 people, they'd order a combo, which is $60, which is a pizza, a pasta, a salad, an appetizer, and a dessert. And that's kind of how that goes.
Yeah. I mean, your menu's not big. I'm looking at it now. It's not a big menu.
No. It's not big. It's just we do like 5, 6, 7 pastas depending on. DoorDash is the best place to look at our menu, by the way. Whatever you find online, because on our website, I have not updated the menu on our website in a while. That gets me some problems sometimes, but it's close enough. It's close enough.
Someone can get the gist by going there.
Yeah. Because you can't order from our website really anyway, unless you click on like DoorDash or whatever. So yeah, DoorDash has our real menu, and that's where we might throw some more extra things on DoorDash just to try it out, see what happens. You say, okay, let's try this combo on DoorDash. We'll give it a couple weeks, because they can give you ratings on items and stuff like that, so I can see, do people like it? Are people ordering it? Are people reordering it? And if not, we kill it and we move on to something else.
That's a great place to do that too, because then if you want to try something, you don't have to like print menus or edit your own website or
exactly.
update. You just like let me put it on there, see if people order it. If they don't, we'll just take it off and get rid of it.
Yeah, and can we make it, right? It's because, like I said, not just pizzas. Can we do the prep correctly? Can we make it on the fly? Can we do it in a timely fashion? I think that's a big part of it when you're of a 1,000 square foot restaurant. You're doing the food for about a 5,000 square foot restaurant, kind of.
Right, yeah. Do you still love the pizza business or the restaurant industry?
Yeah, I mean, I would like... Yeah, I love it. I have ideas about maybe opening even... So my wife is from Mexico. A Mexican restaurant, but like a barbecue Mexican restaurant. I don't know how to describe it. Where it's just like... They call it like carne asada, which is just like a... you're grilling meats, you're grilling potatoes, vegetables, that kind of stuff. But we're definitely going to open another pizza restaurant too. I love the restaurant industry. Yeah, I grew up in it. I don't want to do anything else. I don't want to work as hard. But I don't want to do anything else.
you don't want to be the pizza maker for 70, 80 hours a week like you were in the beginning, I'm sure.
No.
Yeah. That's great.
Because this is hard enough. It's hard enough just like managing everybody. I can't imagine like working, 3 shifts a week anymore. I couldn't imagine it. My wife would leave me.
So you're more of the administrator. A lot of people say that once they open a pizza shop, they say, I want to open a pizza shop because I love making pizza. I'm like, well, then you should probably just get a job as a pizza maker, because once you open a restaurant, you're going to not make pizza a lot.
No. You're the one who has to unclog the toilets. You got to clean out the grease trap. You got to do all the stuff that nobody else wants to do, because that is now your responsibility.
Right. Unless you're just this one tiny pizza shop that's just got one pizza maker and it's you.
Yeah, exactly.
But like once you get to a good scale like you are at, you have employees, you're probably hardly ever going to make pizza unless you absolutely have to or want to.
Yeah, the only times now is like 3 people got to be sick, or 2 people, like, because we have brothers that work for me, so sometimes they want to go on a trip for the week or whatever, and I'll say, okay, I'll be the dishwasher for the night, and I'll help you stretch this, I'll do that. If I have to jump onto the pizza station, I'll jump onto the pizza station, or whatever it is. But for the most part, more front of house, like the younger people that, everybody's sick on the weekend, so you gotta figure out how to cover those shifts.
On Saturday night or Sunday morning.
Yeah. Everybody's sick.
Yeah. What's your favorite tool in the restaurant, like technology-wise, that you use?
What's my favorite tool?
It could be technology, it could be like a internet tool, it could be something in the restaurant that you love that you couldn't do the business without.
Honestly, since we got the Pizza Master, I mean, that has been the best piece of technology that's made everything easier for us. Just because we were coming from a crazy way to make pizzas, and the space it was taking up and the heat it was creating. It's changed it the most, consistency-wise, speed-wise, ease, all that stuff.
And last question, is there anything that you wish if you could go back and tell your younger self when you were opening the pizza shop, hey, listen, watch out for this, what would it be? Like, what piece of advice would you give your younger self?
Probably work on advertising more when we first opened. It was just something that we didn't focus on, and you're so in it at that point, like, what do I need to do to give a good product, make people happy? But really, I mean, you got to let people know where you are. And I don't think we did that well enough that first year, where we were kicking we were working like crazy. Probably we could have diverted a couple of those hours to being a little more creative online, and letting people know we were here, and we probably would have had a little bit easier time. But
Was it slow in the beginning?
Yeah, dude. Like, we're not. So, like I said, I opened the restaurant with a friend that had restaurants that had been established for like 50 years. His family had restaurants. And he just wasn't used to advertising because he didn't have to. They just had a built-in customer. So, and that's where I had worked too. So our mindset was always kind of like, just do a good product. People will be happy. Like, people will come. But that's not really the way it works, is unless you're already a brand or you're a group and you have some kind of, like, they're going to write an article about you because you opened another restaurant.
Right.
We didn't have, and we didn't really pay attention to that. Or we didn't focus on that. And then probably about a year in, I was just, after a while, you're like, okay, I got to do something different. So you get creative and you start trying stuff. Oh, this worked. This Thursday night where I spent $50 on a Yelp advertisement, we had 20% more customers. Oh, that worked. Okay. I think that would be the biggest thing. And then maybe, I enjoyed, but I also enjoyed working the 100-hour weeks and stuff. I think you have to the first year or two, just to look like, so if an employee calls me, I can say, no, you got to push that button over there and that'll make the whole internet system work again. You know what I mean? Because that's kind of the stuff you learn. It's like you banged your head on the wall, like, I can't take orders, I don't know how to turn the internet on, something's going on. But doing that for a couple of years, you learn everything. And you learn how to fix everything. You
need to work the business and work in the business in order to be able to train people to do it for you.
Yeah, exactly.
And if
you don't, be able to solve problems. Yeah. And I take vacations and stuff like that. But I leave my phone on. I'm never like the person that I think most restaurant owners are like this. I'm never like, don't call me, I'm on vacation. Of course not, call me, please. I don't want to issue, you know what I mean? I want to keep making money while I am drinking this margarita right now, you know what I mean?
For sure.
So that's good, yeah. And then I think also another thing, I guess it's hard to do at the beginning. Just hire good people. Do your best to hire good people and stuff like that. Surround yourself with people. Give them responsibility because they can do it as long as you're willing to not take advantage of them. They can do it, and sometimes better than you. A lot of little stuff, Yeah. Because they can focus on it.
Yeah, that's a mistake I made too. I was a little overconfident with my ability to run the restaurant, and I wish I would have given a little bit more responsibility and trust in the people that were working with me.
Yeah, no, I have great employees now, and honestly, and this is over the last 3-4 years. Like, I got just this year, I stepped away from like, okay, I'm going to handle the schedule, because that in itself is just like trying to deal with 20 people's lives. I just don't want to deal with it. Let somebody else take that phone call, and if it's really bad, then I'll take the phone call. You know what I mean? But like just little stuff like that. I'm glad I don't do that anymore.
I love it. All right, well, I appreciate you. Pink Onion Pizza on Instagram. You're not on TikTok, but I think your handle was the same on TikTok.
I think we have a TikTok, but it has like one post.
Instagram's the place to go, though, right?
Yeah.
All right, so Pink Onion Pizza on Instagram. Matthew, appreciate you hanging out with me, answering all my questions, and this was a great conversation.
Yeah, thank you. And honestly, your content's awesome. It always makes me laugh, a lot of your memes and stuff that you got, because it hits it like dead on the head, a lot of that stuff.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Don't go anywhere yet, but I appreciate you joining me. Thank you so much for tuning in to the How You Slice It podcast. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe and leave a review. If you're listening to this on iTunes, we need a lot of reviews over there. We only have a couple, and we need your help. Maybe you don't listen to it on iTunes, but go over to iTunes, leave a review, tell us what you like about the podcast, and also where you'd like us to go. We're always looking for new cities, new pizzerias, new stories to tell here on the podcast. So if you are listening to this or watching on YouTube and you want us to have you on the show, let me know. Drop a comment below where you're listening to this from. Tag your pizzeria. Give us all of that information. And don't forget to check out everything that we do over at Slice. Slice.com. We have an owner's blog over there. We have the Pizzeria Insider videos. We have our Instagram account where we tell shop stories. Everything for pizzeria owners. Plus our Facebook group. Don't forget about that, which I almost did. Everything over there at Slice.com. Go check it out. Thank you to you for listening, and we'll see you right back here on the next episode of the podcast, everybody.